Be open to God's discipline. Hebrews 12:6 tells us that the Lord disciplines those he loves and he punishes each one he accepts as his child. A lot of us are not aware of this side of God. We just want to be pampered even when we do something wrong. Looking at the life of David, who was a man after God's heart, he experienced the discipline of God. That didn't mean that God doesn't love him. Verses 12b of Hebrews 12 tells us not to give up when God corrects us. God uses his discipline to help our hearts align with his. His discipline produces greater peace and righteousness, healing. It strengthens our desire to grow and learn, empowers us to practice self-control, and helps us to make good use of God's help and grace. We have a better understanding of his ways and acts. God can use all sorts of methods to train us in righteousness. For example, I was driving one of the days, this happened a few years back in my early walk with God. And someone bashed my car from behind and broke the light. I insisted she paid for the light, which she did. After I left the accident scene, I knew the Holy Spirit wasn't pleased with that. In a short while, I was driving as a taxi driver, and I also hit another person, breaking their rear light. Guess what? I paid the exact amount the previous lady had paid me for damaging my light. It's actually not funny, but calls for laughter. The Lord used that experience to teach me what it means to show mercy. I heard another believer talk about an experience he had when someone hit his car. He made a boast of how he called the law enforcement to demand his rights. I had to uproot myself from that discussion because I knew what God would want me to do should that play out with me. God can replace the car. It's hard to take in, but it's the truth. When we fight God's discipline, we hinder ourselves from receiving his help, and we will still not win.